So, when you hear the phrase code of ethics for accountants, what comes to mind? Probably some dusty old rulebook, right? Well, what if I told you it's actually more like the operating system for the entire global economy? Okay, let's dive into what that really means. I mean, really think about it for a second. We live in a world built on numbers. So, what is it that protects your money, your investments, and what stands between a stable economy and total chaos? It's a massive question, right? But the answer, it's surprisingly straightforward.
Yeah, it all boils down to one simple word: trust. This whole code, this entire structure we're about to talk about, it exists for just one reason: to protect the public interest, to make sure that you and I can actually trust the financial information that we rely on every single day.
Okay, so that leads us to the big why. Why does this code even need to exist? Well, it's all about defining an accountant's true responsibility. And spoiler alert, it's not just to their client or their company. It's to all of us. And this right here, this is the absolute key. The code makes it crystal clear that an accountant's ultimate loyalty isn't to the person cutting the check. Their first duty, their real duty, is to the public. That single promise that the numbers are reliable for everyone is the bedrock the entire profession is built on. So how do they actually uphold that huge promise? Well, they use a moral compass, and it's built on 5 fundamental principles. And let me be clear, these aren't gentle suggestions. These are the absolute, non-negotiable values of the profession. First one up, integrity. This is the absolute foundation. It's simple, really. Be honest, be straightforward. No games, no hidden agendas, no fine print, just the truth. All right, next up we have objectivity. Think of it this way. Your professional judgment is not for sale. It can't be bought, it can't be influenced by bias, and it for sure can't be pushed around by pressure from others. Your decisions have to be based on the facts. Period, full stop. Then we've got a kind of 2-for-1 deal. Professional competence and due care. See, it's not enough to just be smart. You have to commit to staying smart, to keeping your skills sharp. And the due care part? That means you're diligent, you're thorough, you do the work, and you do it right.
And of course, a huge one: confidentiality. I mean, accountants see some of the most sensitive information out there. This principle says you have to respect that information. And here's the kicker: that duty doesn't just vanish when the job is done. It lasts forever. And finally, professional behavior. This one is bigger than just you. It's about upholding the good name of the entire profession. It means you follow the law and you avoid doing anything that could cause the public to lose trust in accountants as a whole. You're an ambassador.
Okay, so you've got these 5 principles down. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, the real world is messy, and the code gets that. That's why it also identifies 5 common threats. These are the hidden dangers that can knock that ethical compass right off course. All right, so here they are, the 5 big threats. You've got self-interest. That's when your own wallet starts doing the talking. Self-review, basically marking your own homework, which is never a great idea. Advocacy is when you become more of a cheerleader for your client than an objective expert. Familiarity, that's getting a little too cozy with a client and losing your edge. And then there's intimidation, when someone tries to bully you into making a bad call. And let's be real. A self-interested threat doesn't have to be some movie plot bribe in a briefcase. It can be way more subtle. It could be something as simple as a supplier offering you, say, amazing seats at a game. It seems harmless, but that little thing can start to cloud your judgment, even if you don't realize it.
And here's a classic example of intimidation. This one's not subtle at all. It's the, hey, sign off on these shady numbers or you can clean out your desk scenario. It's using fear, plain and simple, to try and break that core principle of objectivity.
Okay, so we know the principles and we know the things that can trip us up. The big question is, what do you actually do when you spot one of these threats? Luckily, the code doesn't just leave you hanging. It gives you a super practical 3-step game plan. And here's that game plan. It's really just 3 common sense steps. Step 1, identify the threat. You just have to see it and name it. Step 2, evaluate it. How bad is this really? Is this a tiny little blip on the radar, or is it a 5-alarm fire? And step 3, address it. You got to do something. So what does addressing it actually mean? Well, you've basically got 3 moves. The best option?
Just eliminate the problem. Get rid of whatever is causing the threat. If you can't do that, you apply safeguards. You put some rules or processes in place to manage the risk. And if that's still not enough, if the threat is just too big, you have to be ready to walk away, decline the job, or end the engagement. And this is so important. This whole framework isn't a mindless checklist. It's a way of thinking. The code calls for an inquiring mind. That means you have to be curious, you have to be skeptical, and you have to use your professional judgment. It's all about the spirit of the rules, not just the letter. All right, let's put this all together and see where it matters most. Independence. For auditors especially, independence isn't just a nice to have, it's everything. It's the entire foundation of their credibility. So the code actually breaks independence into two parts. First, there's independence of mind. That's what's going on inside your own head. Are you truly unbiased? But then there's independence in appearance, which is just as critical. This is all about perception. It's avoiding any situation that would make a reasonable person look at you and go, I'm not so sure about that. It really boils down to this. And if you remember one thing about independence, make it this. You don't just have to be independent. You also have to be seen to be independent. Perception is reality here, because that's what public trust is built on. And it's really easy to think this is all just for auditors, but it's not. This entire ethical framework applies to every single professional accountant out there, whether you're working for a giant firm or you're inside a small company. It's the universal playbook for doing the right thing. So at the end of the day, the best way to think about the code of ethics isn't as a defensive shield to stop bad things from happening. It's actually a proactive blueprint for building and, just as important, maintaining the one thing the financial world can't live without: trust. Which really just leaves one last question. And this one is for you to think about. We live in a world that is jam-packed with competing interests and all kinds of pressures. So the real challenge is a personal one. How will you protect your ethical compass?